Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of The Bullet. My name is Paul Lathrop. I am the Deputy Director of New Media for the Second Amendment Foundation. Joining me today, Dan Wos, author of the series of books Good Gun, Bad Guy. And I have to admit, I was going to go in Susan's office, which is right behind me, and grab our copies of Good Gun, Bad Guy so I could show them off right now, but I didn't do it in time. I had a phone call that distracted me. But if you want to see what they look like, you can see them just over Dan's shoulder right there. Dan, thanks for coming along for the ride today, man.
Oh, thanks for having me, Paul. It's always great. What are we going to talk about today? Well, it's always fun to learn what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. Well, let me get social media hooked up. And as I'm doing this, I want to remind everybody, if you want to get your comments in, just go ahead, and if you're watching on Polite Society Podcast, Facebook, or YouTube page, comment on the live video. If you're watching anywhere else, on OpsLens or anywhere else that picks us up, go to Twitter, tweet with the hashtag #TheBullet, and we'll get that comment, and we'll get your comments in. We'll discuss them as we go along. We got some news to talk about today. It's been a little bit of a slow news day. First thing I want to talk about is an article that this really smart guy I know named Dan Wos put up, and this is from a little bit earlier this month. This came out actually August 9th, Dan, but this came out on AmmoLand. Looks like the FBI thinks that you and I are now violent extremists.
I just pulled it up. Yes. This is just another left-wing attack. Really, because I mean, we're starting to see how the FBI is being manipulated by the Democrats. I mean, this is the same stuff that Hitler did. I mean, he controlled the narrative, and by doing that, he controlled what people consumed, and he was able to influence the way they thought. And in this case, the FBI is now determining that if you have flags or like the 3%er flag or the Boogaloo flag or the Punisher skull, which I happen to have on one of my vehicles, the warrior culture symbol, the black flag, the electrical resistance symbol, and anything like Moulin Labey, Second Amendment related, the Liberty Tree, the Gadsden flag, the "Don't Tread on Me" flag, right, and even the Betsy Ross flag with the founding of our country.
Yeah, the 13 stars. Yes,
the 13 stars for the 13. Right, exactly. And so they say that those symbols can be associated with violent militia extremists. It's amazing that they're coming up with this stuff. I sure hope people don't really buy into it, but I know that there's some people who really want to, and probably who really enjoy these type of attacks on real Americans, conservatives, people who support the Constitution and Bill of Rights and our freedom and our liberty and our founding. So I'm sure there are people who are enjoying watching us get attacked by the left. But the reality is, we're the real Americans. We're the ones who support, the important stuff, the traditional American values, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, Declaration of Independence. We're the ones who support that stuff. The Second Amendment rights, for that matter.
Right.
And but there's people who enjoy watching us be attacked like this. They're going to lose in the end, but it's just something that we have to, I guess, deal with in the best way we can. So I wrote an article about it in AmmoLand. It's just astonishing that the left would literally attack their political opposition the way they do.
What I'm concerned about is people in the legacy media, the people at CNN, NBC, ABC, are going to be the ones that pick up on this and run with it. Where I'm concerned is it's going to hit middle America that just doesn't care yet.
Right.
And those are the people who unfortunately are still watching CNN, are still watching CBS News, which among the broadcast networks, ABC, NBC, CBS is the absolute worst. Um, and but anyway, I'm hoping that this is something we caught, but the legacy media just kind of slipped by them.
We'll have to see if this attack has any kind of legs. Um, I can't imagine that people are that stupid to latch on to the Betsy Ross flag somehow being a symbol of violent extremist militia. I don't know. And for that matter, there's nothing wrong with militia. Militia is that's how we won we fought for and won our independence. Militia is a good thing. This is the craziness of all this. They can take anything that's good and they can make it appear bad with enough propaganda and enough media rhetoric and hype. And no, guns are good, militias are good, and the Second Amendment is good.
If you going back to as Justice Thomas wants us to, going back to 1790 and looking back at that time period, the militia was every able-bodied male above the age of 16.
Right. And the ironic thing, the irony about all this is that these people who attack traditional America, we're defending their freedom and their rights as well. That's the funny thing about it. The ironic thing is that they don't realize that they're attacking the very people who are supporting freedom and would fight for their rights. So they're so foolish. But I think a lot of these radical leftists, a lot of people on the left, I think that they are consumed with this idea that they need to follow rules, regulations. They seem to be very, boy, I don't know what the words, I haven't really thought this through a lot, but they seem very attracted to that type of communism, that type of ideology where you're told what to do, where to go, when to go there, what you can, everything. They like that. I mean, it seems like some people in our country like that. And not only do they want to be controlled, but they want to be able to make sure that you are controlled as well. It goes completely against what our country was founded on, the principles that our country was founded on. It's a very weak-minded person who follows that path, and it's a person, I believe, who is unwilling or unable to take responsibility for the direction of their own life. It's really despicable to go that route. And not only that, if you want to go that route, okay, fine, but I'm not going along with you. Don't try to bring me along.
Well, and one thing Tom Gresham says a lot, and I totally agree with him, it's not about guns, it's about control.
Yeah,
And that they want to control every aspect of your life. And if you have a gun, guess what? You get to control a lot of your life. The more you're able to control your own life, the less power they have. And that's what they want, is the power.
yeah, yeah. Tom's a very smart man. I just did his show, I think, last week, and but it's true. And the thing that's really interesting to me is the mindset of the people who actually adhere to that. Because you'll see conservatives discard that and avoid that type of behavior, that type of controlling environment like the plague. We want nothing to do with it because we understand that when we take action, we have the ability to bring our life in a certain direction through the actions we take, the results we get, And then, sometimes we have to adjust and we have to do things differently. Sometimes we have to, fix our mistakes. But most often we get to reap our own rewards. And that's all that stuff is inherent when you take on a personal responsibility for your own life. When you don't want, I always say, freedom comes with a responsibility, just like wealth comes with a responsibility, just like success comes with a responsibility. There are people who are scared of that type of responsibility. That's why you'll see people avoid success. They'll avoid wealth, and they'll avoid freedom. They want to be told what to do. It's just a mindset. I used to say that it was the Democrats who create that and who and manipulate those people, and they do to a certain extent. But really, what the Democrat Party has provided is a platform where those type of people can gravitate towards. So it's just, I don't know if it's in the upbringing or if it's generational. I'm not sure what causes it, but the Democrats like to perpetuate that in our culture.
Let me get another comment. Let me get a comment up here real quick. Michael over on the Facebook side says the Catholic Rosary is also being attacked as a symbol of racism. I didn't see that in that FBI report, but yes, absolutely. The liberal, anything that they want to demean, they're going to find a way to put it up as a symbol of racism. Because why do they do that? Because it's worked in the past.
Yeah.
I was born and raised in the Catholic Church. I was a Catholic until I became an adult and decided that I was going to go a different route with my faith. But I have no problems with Catholics at all. And the Rosary, come on, it's a meditation device, is what the Rosary breaks down to.
Yeah, they're going to attack religion, and in general, any Christian religion, they're going to attack, because what it does is it gives people something else to look to. Yeah. God as a higher power, and the political left doesn't want that. They want the government to be the higher power.
Because they can change what the government says is good and bad. They cannot change what's written in the Bible.
That's right. That's right. And they hate the idea that there's something other than them that people will look to for answers in life and answers for afterlife. So it's astonishing to me how there's some people Democrats who have denounced God altogether. There's atheists. There's people who actually believe that we came from nothing. How do and all that stuff? We can go down that road. That's a whole conversation. But the idea is that they do gravitate toward government. You find that these people tend to gravitate toward government. I believe because as human beings, we need a higher power of some sort. We need something to look up to. We need to understand, and we need to know that there's gonna be something after this life. If you take that away from people, and they don't have that ability, I think they're going to gravitate toward the next best thing. And Democrats are right there to be that next best thing. That's the way I see it.
I want to move, because we've already burned half the show just on this one topic. I want to get one more of your articles in. This one hit just yesterday. This is about the Texas judge that ruled that 18 to 20-year-olds can carry guns. The lawsuit in this one was a Firearms Policy Coalition lawsuit. SAF has a very similar lawsuit in Minnesota, also one in Georgia, that along the same grounds. But I'm glad that the judge in Texas ruled this way. I want to get your take on this. The judge automatically, when he ruled, he put a stay on his own order for 30 days to give the state of Texas a chance to appeal if they wanted to. Texas I'd put about in the middle of the states as far as freedoms when it comes to Second Amendment. They're not leading the pack. They're not at the tail of the pack. They're about in the middle. What do you think, Dan? Do you think that the state of Texas is going to appeal this?
Oh, I think they will. everything that I've heard, I think they will, because they initially put this thing into place, but I think they're going to lose. And everything that I've heard and the people I've talked to about this case seem to be pretty confident that there will be an appeal. But I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. I mean, I think ultimately this ruling is going to determine that 18-year-olds can carry a gun and can carry a gun in public. There's nothing in nothing in the Bill of Rights that talks about an age requirement to any rights. I think it was the Fourth Amendment talks about it. Let me pull up the article. There were a few different amendments that talked about the people, and nowhere in those descriptions of the people did it have age requirement. So, and here's the other thing, and here's the ironic thing about the same people who are pushing for these gun laws are the same people who believe that 16-year-olds should be able to vote and make a decision on who's going to be president.
Yep.
And they also believe that like 5 and 6-year-olds can determine their own gender, which is this is a ridiculous notion that I can't believe we even have to talk about it. You can't change your gender. You just can't do that. You can pretend, and that's okay if that's what you want to do, but you can't change your gender, let alone at 5 years old. It's just astonishing. So, but they think that 5-year-olds have the mental maturity to be able to determine their own gender, and they believe 16-year-olds have the maturity to make a decision on who's going to be president of the United States. Yet a 20-year-old who can go to war and fight for our freedom and put their life at risk can't carry a gun in public? This doesn't make any sense.
You're right. I'm going to get a couple comments in. And Michael on the Facebook site, I did see your comments. We're going to get to that story. We've got a story about that. We'll get to those comments in a minute. But I'm going to jump forward in the comments. I want to get to this comment by George. And he says, remember, Obama said we cling to our guns and Bible. That is a great point, George. Yeah, we do tend to be both in the center of the country. We do tend to be both very religious, and we tend to very much believe in our Second Amendment rights.
They're the two of the main things that our country was founded on. That's why this country is so great, is because we had a belief in God. We understood higher power, higher, creator. And we also understood the ability and the leverage that guns afford us. That's why the Second Amendment was written. Yeah. They want to take both those things away, if you noticed.
Yes, they do. DJ Play Nice over on the YouTube side said the government should be neutral toward all religions and not recognize or favor any of them. 2A is religion exempt. Absolutely. One of my very good friends, Yehuda Reamer, tags himself as the Pew Pew Jew. And Charles Heller, who I work with at Gun Rights Policy Conference, Charles does the audio, I do the video when we get together down at GRPC. Charles is is the main spokesperson for Jews for the Preservation of Firearms Ownership, or JPFO. If you watch Mondays when I do the Polite Society podcast, we run ads for JPFO. And by the way, they don't pay us a dime. I just do it because I believe in their organization. The Second Amendment, if I don't care if you're Jewish, Christian, if you're a Wiccan, the Second Amendment is your amendment as well.
That's right.
All right. I want to get in, and I'm going to jump around a little bit because I want to get Michael's comment in, and we're going to jump to the story he's talking about. Michael says Biden said we need F-15s, not ARs. So why is he after our ARs? Michael, I want to take that one step further. Why can't I have an F-15? Why can't I have an M1A Abrams? We were founded on, we had the same weapons as the British Army did. That's how we got our independence. If we have to defend against the Chinese coming over or the Mexicans coming north, don't believe that's not a possibility. If we have to defend our country, why can't I have the same weapons that our military does?
Yeah, when Biden said this, I think what he was doing is he was trying to make a point that the government is much more powerful than the people.
And no, that's the Afghanis.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that's his point. Biden is I think he seems very angry to me. Deep down inside, I think he's very angry, and he probably never got the respect that he wanted during the Obama administration. It always seemed like he was the butt of the joke. So I think when he says things like you're going to need, F-15, or how you going to, is your AR-15 going to match, match up to basically what the government has? I think what he was what he was doing is he was flexing his muscles because he seems like the type that wants that type of respect and never got it. And but then the irony of it is, of course, they don't want us to have guns, so that's where the AR-15 bans come in. But yeah, I think Biden's a real joke. I really think he's an absolute joke, and I can't believe that we're still, going along with it, playing this game that he's a legitimate president, that he's a good president. It's just funny. At this point, it's funny to me. It's almost like a charade.
We just over a year ago, last week, we pulled out of Afghanistan and left Afghanistan all kinds of hard weaponry. The kind of weaponry that he would shiver in his boots to think was on American soil. But what did the Afghanis have against our F-15s? What did the Afghanis have to take and boot the Americans out? They had AKs. That was about it.
Yeah. And I wrote an article in AmmoLand, people are interested, with an entire list of the list of weaponry and vehicles and airplanes and just other equipment, night vision goggles and all sorts of stuff that we left behind. 83, the number changes a little bit, but the number we had at AmmoLand was $83 million worth of $1 billion worth. I'm sorry. Of equipment. Yeah, that's astonishing.
Yeah. All right. Well, and President Obama, I don't have any student loans, but if you want to give me $10,000 worth of military equipment, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Of course, I'm a violent extremist. So, yeah. All right, let's see what else we got on the. I want to get to this story. This one is scary to me as well. Top New York City and California pension officials want payments processors Visa, MasterCard, and American Express to create a new tool to track suspicious gun purchases. Staff for New York City Comptroller Brad Lander, who oversees pension funds, said he has filed to shareholder resources at MasterCard American Express asking their boards to explain their views on whether to add a new merchant category code for firearms stores. Lander, at a California State Teachers Retirement System portfolio manager, made a similar request to Visa, whose deadline for 2023 shareholder proposals has already passed. In August 29, letters to the three companies were seen by Reuters. Pension officials wrote such codes would help financial firms meet obligations to report suspicious purchases and noted the four-digit codes are already assigned to specialized businesses like bowling alleys. What worries me here is if they, let me put it to you this way. If I have a credit card and I go to a casino They can shut down my credit card knowing that I'm in a casino because the casinos have a special code. I do not want to give the credit card companies to shut down my card knowing that I'm at a firearms store. This is a bad, bad, bad idea.
Yeah, and you know the thing that just reading that article, it came up a few times. The word suspicious. Who's going to determine whether or not your gun purchase is so-called suspicious?
Yeah.
You know, is that going to be someone from someone from the Second Amendment Foundation or Gun Owners of America? Are they going to determine, or is it going to be some anti-gun leftist?
Yeah, it's going to be somebody who lives in Washington, D.C. is who's going to determine it.
Right. So the whole thing is a joke. It's just another way to control the purchase of firearms. And I'm working on a project right now. I hope to unveil it at GRPC, but it's called the Gun Control Matrix, and it goes through all the points, all the areas they're trying to hit, and making guns illegal or literally stopping the purchase and sale is just one area. But yeah, they'd love to be able to put their finger on the button and say, nope, you can't have a gun. Nope, you can't have a gun. And that's basically what they did in New York City anyway, and New York State, most of New York State, but is say no. You didn't show proper cause, so no, you can't have your Second Amendment rights. But luckily, we got that shot down.
One comment in, and it's almost about in the hour. We got to start getting out of here. But great point, Michael, over on the Facebook side. This is the reason they want to do away with cash and start digital currency. They can track everything you do. That's absolutely right. And one of the main people looking for a digital currency, the IRS. It's really easy to tax if they know everything you're getting and everything you're spending.
Yeah.
So yeah. We are down near the bottom of the hour, man. I want to do one quick thing, and then I'm going to ask you to plug your stuff. But before we do, I want to plug GRPC. I myself have spent several hours today working on GRPC and AMCON, the Second Amendment media conference that happens just before GRPC. But I want to encourage everybody, if you can get to Dallas September 30th, October 1st, and October 2nd, get there. Both AMCON and GRPC are free to attend. And in the case of GRPC, they give you a lot of books, a lot of knowledge, and the networking you get there is unbelievable. Dan, anything you want to add? And also, if you would, plug your books, bud.
Well, people can go to goodgunbadguy.com. You can see the book series over my shoulder. Check it out. Tons of great reviews. People seem to really love it. It's basically gets into the mindset of the anti-gun crowd and kind of unveil their secrets. So goodgunbadguy.com. I have a web show called The Loaded Mic, and you can find that at loadedmic.com. And if you want to keep up on Second Amendment news, I have a writer's page at AmmoLand, so you can check out all my articles at AmmoLand and videos. We do tons of video for them as well. That's it.
All righty. Well, Dan, thanks again for coming along for the ride today, and we'll see you in 2 weeks, and we'll be together down in Dallas in 4 weeks.
Absolutely, yeah. I can't wait for that. It's gonna be a blast.
All right. Well, that's it for us. Join us tomorrow. Tomorrow is. Let me go to my calendar. Holy cow. Tomorrow is Thursday already. Tomorrow is September the 1st. I cannot believe that. Tomorrow's Matt Mallory is going to be joining us on the Bullet. And Friday, of course, is Training Friday with Tom Walls. Come join us at 5 p.m. Central Time tomorrow and Friday. And until then, everybody,